Okay, let's get started. We're going to create a drawing. And the first thing we want to do when creating a drawing is make sure the part that we're going to create the drawing of is open. So here I just opened up one of the MOA parts, which is 3321-005. After we have the part open, each part has what are called parameters. And to get to the parameters, we have to go to Tools, and then you'll see Parameters. Now, if you created a part in class, your part should have all of these parameters already in it. If you downloaded a part, or if you created a part outside of class that doesn't have the same configuration that we have, you're going to have to enter these parameters. So the parameters may or may not be in this order, but you're going to have description line 1, description line 2, part number, drawn by, drawn date, checked by, checked date, material, finish, revision, and release. So description line 1, for our drawing description will have 2 lines. So a traditional drawing would have the verb and then the noun. So we'll just call this a linkage. Oops. On a traditional mechanical drawing, you want it all caps. And we'll just call it bar. Actually, I'm going to put that all on line 1. So linkage. Bar. And then description line 2, I'll put MOA. So I have the adjective, right? And then I have the noun, and then I have what it goes to, right? So linkage, it's some type of linkage. It links a bar, and it belongs to MOA. So part number. For part numbers, you usually have a prefix, and then you'll have a number, and then sometimes you could have a suffix. For the drawings that we do at school, our prefix is SES, and then we have some random number here that it doesn't repeat. That's the most important thing. The number cannot repeat itself. So for the first part, this part should be called 3321-005. Okay, so that would be our part number. So our prefix is SES, the part number is 3321, and then the suffix is -005. So this is drawn by you, so you put your name here. And then you put today's date, so whatever date it is. So I'll put 12/6/15. And checked by, this would be whoever checks your drawing. So in this class, it's going to be checked by me. So you can leave that there for checked by. Check date, you can also put today's date for the check date. So the material, Lego pieces are made out of what's called ABS plastic. So we'll just put ABS. If we're going to do something on the 3D printer, the material would be Z Corp. Finish. Finish is if you're going to paint it, or if you're going to stain it, or if you're going to do some process after it's made. So for the finish, I'm going to put none, because we're not going to do anything to this part. Revision A, everything you do in this class will be A, and release is going to be released. Okay, so once all these parameters are in place, you hit OK. So now we created the parameters. Now we're ready to actually create the drawing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new, and now we want to make sure drawing is selected. Now, the name of the drawing should be the exact same name of the part. So in this case, it's going to be Davis underscore 3321-005. Okay. So you can use the default template. Make sure that's checked. You hit OK. Now, for right here, you should see the part that you're drawing right here, the .prt. So this is the right part. If it is the wrong part, you select Browse and you find the right part. But you just make sure that you have the right part there. And then all you have to do at this point is hit OK. Now, this is the drawing. This is the title block here. Okay, so title block is where you have all the information. Right now, it just has, your name, and it has information that doesn't appear to be filled out, which is okay. I'll show you how to make sure that the parameters that you inputted show there. First thing we want to do is add a view. So we're going to add what's called a general view. And we'll just hit OK at this point. Then we have to left click where we want that view, and it'll show. Now, if we have named views here, we'll go ahead and put those in, or we'll select the view that we want. So for this guy, I just want a top view. Okay, and when you're looking at a top view, a front view, or a side view, those views are called orthographic views. And when you do your drawing and you have orthographic views for your view state, for your view display, you want no hidden, and you want tangent edges display style as none. So you hit apply, and then you can get out of here. So this is a top view of the part, and usually the part can't move after you place it. If you want to move it around, you have to uncheck the lock view movement. Then you're able to move it around to where you want. Now I'm going to create a traditional mechanical drawing has at least 3 different views, and the reason being is that usually you can completely show what needs to be shown in those 3 views. Sometimes you could do it in less, but usually there's at least 3. So I'm going to create what's called a projection view. And the way I do that is I select the existing view, right click and hold, and then you'll see projection view. So I'll go ahead and do projection view. Now notice that I get this box and it only allows me to place it at 90-degree increments, right? Because it's going to project it whichever way I select. So I'm going to select down here, and I'm going to left click, and it'll place the view. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create another projection view, and this time I will place it, I'll just place it to the right here. And I'll do that by selecting the view that I want to project off of. And then I'll do projection view again, and I'll come to the right. So now I'm going to select both of these views that I just created. I hold Control to select more than one view. And then I can right click. Oops. Let's get these views here. I'm just going to draw a selection box around them. I can right click and I can go into properties. And from here again, display style, no hidden, and tangent edges displayed as none. And I'm going to hit apply. And then I'm going to hit cancel. All right. So now these are projection views. If I select one view and I try to move it, you'll see that all views are affected. right? So that's how I know that they are projected. And it's really important because this is how people actually read drawings. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is create an isometric view. So usually, like I said, a typical mechanical drawing will have 3 orthographic views and 1 isometric view. So to do that, I'm going to hit General View again, and then I hit OK. Then I pick where I want the view. Now, the default view is always going to be a isometric view. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this default view as is. And then I'm going to go to Display Style. And for isometric views, for your display style, you want no hidden. But for tangent edges, you want those to be dimmed. Then you hit Apply, and you can cancel out of there. So here I have my 3 drawings, my 3 views, and I have an isometric view. Okay. Now, after I have my views in there, I can refresh this title block, and then the parameters that I previously put in there will actually display. So the way I refresh this title block is I go to Sheet Setup, and the title block that we're using is SES size B, so all I gotta do is select it, drop down, and select it again. And then I hit OK. And I want to remove all. And yes. So now you see that the title block is now up to date. It has our description line 1, our description line 2, our part number. It didn't get our drawn by and date, so I'll check that out, see why they didn't update. But this is looking good. Okay, so now a couple things we want to look at is the scale. Right, so the scale of our view is 5:1. That means that if we print this out on a piece of paper that's the same size of this title block, then the actual object on the drawing is going to be 5 times greater than it would be in real life, which is okay, you know. The object of how you place your views is you want to place them so that they fill up a good portion of the page. So right now 5:1, it looks pretty proportional. So I'm not going to change the scale. If I did want to change the scale, I just double click on Drawing Scale, and I can change it to whatever I want. You know, just to show you what it looks like, I am going to change it so you can see instead of 5:1, I'm going to make it 6:1. So you see it gets bigger. So now I'll go ahead and I'll add dimensions. To add dimensions, you go to Annotate, and then you use the Dimension tool. Now from here, if I want a dimension from the top of the part here to the bottom of the part here, I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to select the top. Then I'm going to select the bottom. And then I'm going to middle mouse button to drop it. If I want to add a dimension to show the diameter of this guy, I can go ahead and select it. I can drop this dimension, and I get the option here of selecting diameter. So I want that to be a diameter. If I want to show cross dimensions, again, I want the dimension from here, and then I need to hold Control and get the dimension from there. Middle mouse button to drop it. I can do the same thing from here and hold Control, middle mouse button to drop it. I can go from here to here, middle mouse button, and from here to here. Middle mouse button. Okay, now for right now, until we get comfortable doing the dimensions, all I want you to show right now are 5 dimensions. So that's all I really need to see right now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put another dimension here, just so I have dimensions in each view. Okay. So now I have all my dimensions in. And with diameter dimensions, I usually like to have the arrow pointing to the outside. So if I left click and hold on the dimension, then I can right click, and you can see it'll flip the arrow so that it's to the outside there. But this symbol here is diameter, so I know that that is the diameter of this piece. And then again, I just kind of, arrange it so it takes up a little bit more of the page here. And that should be it for this guy.